When are you bringing that thing out?
He needs more shots first.
Okay.
Plus, he's not so into Marv.
Clearly, a lot of other people are not so into Marv either.
Yeah.
Mincha he's into?
He would be.
Not too many people into Mincha either, the way it's been going by our minion.
Yeah. Maybe if it's not raining, I'll try to bring him tomorrow.
Is there a possibility that I can get you to give a shear on marijuana?
On marijuana?
I think.
How much marijuana do I have to take before I give the shit?
I think it's such a fascinating thing, and there's.
I don't think he caught that.
Everyone
is
talks
this a
about,
weekly shear?
And Aaron's job is chill shear?
No way, man. No way. No, it's so interesting. Like, they always bring up, like, Rav Moshe's tshuva on marijuana versus pot and things like marijuana versus booze and things like that. And, like, you know, he brings up the halachas of the government and things like that. But now it's changing. Indiana is no recreational, no medicinal, but Illinois and Michigan, the two bordering states, both medicinal and recreational. And, like, it's just interesting. Like, I know tons of guys that have beards and yarmulkes that are in the pot business now. Like, they have growing fields and all sorts of things. Like, it's
there's a fellow there's a fellow I'm friendly with from Boston who wants to start getting it under a hechsher. I'm not exactly sure why you need a hechsher.
They have kosher edibles.
The OU already gives hashgacha on it.
No, he wants to do on real marijuana. I don't know exactly what that
Why
means.
would someone need a hechsher on a plant?
I'm telling you that if they start legalizing marijuana, the bug people are going to find bugs in it.
I was about to ask,
1 second.
actually. So they'll go buy Bodek pot?
Yeah, Bodek pot. Yes. Pre-wash.
I find it so interesting.
Is it a problem to inhale bugs?
I don't know. I'm just saying. Yeah.
Okay, I want to see the Gemara that talked about inhaling bug guts after they've been lit on fire.
They'll find it. Don't worry about
So you're
it.
saying you're in on the shear, right?
Tiago, the OU does give on edibles. So do they check are they biting the marijuana before they make the
I have
edibles?
no idea. Am I in on the shear? I would require a lot of research.
By the way, Icky, that's not how they make edibles. They don't just like.
I'm kidding, Simon.
Oh, you moved to Arizona, you become a bucky.
You're telling me that no one has ever asked you if it was mutter to smoke marijuana?
Of course people ask me.
Oh. Do you answer them?
I tell them that I think the Mahadran Hechsher is giving a Hechsher on
You're recording!
Gemara. Can I have water, please?
Rabbi Leibowitz, Rabbi Ari Leibowitz gave a whole.
Yes, I heard it today.
It's geschmack.
It was very good. It was very good.
It's very good. Oh.
Required listening.
And then I saw on Facebook some of one of the guys that runs 550 from the family that owns it says, "Oh, he's misinformed and all these things. It's still mafia. That's why we switched." Get out of here! I know you guys. I know what you're doing. Like,
right.
Which share? The Daf he gave this? He said this in the Daf share?
What?
Rabbi Leibowitz said this in his Daf share?
No, he
it's on YouTube.
No. What?
On YouTube.
On YouTube. You could send that to me?
Yeah, I'll find it for you and send it. It was really very well done. And I was half tempted to text Rabbi Eisen and be like, I'm so intrigued on how you got yourself into this, but I'm not going to.
By the way, Tiago, just as another surprising thing that I just learned, because I opened my computer, I'm on my computer, and I looked, and I did a find for the word weed in your file, and I haven't found any weed yet, but there's 19 matches to seaweed. What bracha do I make on seaweed?
Yeah. Oh, is that so?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't think that was that popular.
I would tell you to do a search for pot, but you're going to get a lot of kasher shivers.
That's why I guessed weed first. Well, I'll check.
Yeah. Okay, let's go. Yeah, so the chazar from yesterday. So Rabbi Eliezer's shita, we're going to have a continuation of it today, that a knife can be carried on Shabbos or a bris, and wood can be cut and burned in order to make the knife. The knife should be carried out in the open. If it's a sakana, then you should have Eidim, right? And Rabbi Kiva says, Rabbi Kiva disagrees. He says anything that can be done before Shabbos should be done, right? Or has to be done. Then the Gemara says, Rabbi Eliezer, why did he want the knife to be carried out in the open? Because he wanted to be able to see the greatness of the mitzvah. That was the maskana of the Gemara. Then we had an opinion that chicken can be cooked with milk. And then the city that did Rabbi Eliezer didn't have the gzeira not to do mila, right? So, and which we said was interesting because we don't paskin like that. Mitzvahs are accepted with happiness, continue to be done in happiness. The mitzvahs that weren't done in happiness are still not done in happiness. That's what we said, that ein ksuba shein batigra. And the story with Elisha and the tefillin, that's the second time we had it in Shabbos and Amud Beis, is some allow the knife to be carried through private properties that don't have an eruv, and then transferring items that were left in a yard to another yard or roof, even if there's no eruv, and then transferring items that are in a street that doesn't have eruv. Okay, so just the chazer from yesterday, just because Be'ezus Hashem in around 5 weeks, we're going to start with eruvin, and it's an important thing to know about. With Eruvin. Again, there's something called Eruv Chatzeres. When we say we make an Eruv, so we all assume that an Eruv is sticks and strings. That's really not what an Eruv is. I mean, that is an Eruv, but if you have a bunch of houses together that want to carry from one to the other, and they're all enclosed by a fence, you have to make what's called Eruv Chatzeres, which is you have to we take a box of matzahs, and that suffices for the whole community, and one person picks it up, and he's kind of matza on behalf of everybody in the community, and then he gives it over to one person from the community on behalf of everybody in the community, and then they put it away in one of the shuls. Last I knew that it was in the Aguda, the one for Far Rockaway, right? So that's what enables us to be able to carry in the streets and from one person's property to another. Fine. Now, because instead of using the Marchuk mushal, maybe we use this mushal, right? It's not exactly the same thing, but Bayswater and the 5 towns, right? Our Eruv is Far Rockaway and Lawrence. Then we're bordered on one end by Bayswater and on the other end by the 5 towns Eruv. They also make their own Eruv Chatzeres, right? So now but basically when you have a mavui, that's the next level, meaning when we want to combine Bayswater, Far Rockaway, and 5 towns, then we would all have to put an Eruv together to combine all of our towns, right? It's the same concept, but just taking it instead of from houses to each other, it's taking it sort of from towns to each other. It's not exactly the best mashal, because it's really just to do it in a mavui, but that's essentially what's going on here. All right, so we said yesterday that we said the maskana of the Gemara was that if there's no eruv, if you did not make the eruv, the second leg of the eruv, if there's things that are found in the streets, you would still be able to carry. Meaning, if a guy left the stroller in the street from before Shabbos, then even if Far Rockaway did not make an eruv with Bayswater and the 5 towns, you'd still be able to use that carriage because it was left in the street from before Shabbos. But you would not be able to take the carriage out of your house and bring it into the streets from Far Rockaway to Bayswater unless it was in the street from before Shabbos. Right? That was the maskana that we said. So now we're up to Itmar, about 12 lines up from the bottom on Kuf Lamed Amud Beis. First part of this stuff is a little difficult, and then after that it's easy. Yeah, so Itmar, Omer Rav Zera, Omer Rav. Yeah, now all of them has it. So Omer Rav Zera, Omer Rav, mavui shaloi nishtatu boy. A mavui, so that's what we're saying. Essentially, a mavui is the street that all these yards open up to. So mavui shaloi nishtatu boy, a mavui that they didn't combine with each other. Ein metaltalin boy ela b'dalet amas. You are not allowed to carry there only within 4 amas, meaning we don't look at it like there's any sort of eruv. So Omer Abaye, Hamilsa Omer Rav Zera, v'loi pirsha. Rav Zera said this halacha, and he didn't explain it. Ad also Rav Baravua pirsha, until Rav Baravua came and explained it. Omer Rav Nachman, Omer Rav Baravua, Omer Rav. Mavui shaloi nishtatu eruv chetzeres. Imbatim, right? If you have a mavui that there was no shtufe muvois, right? Again, like Far Rockaway did not hook up with base water and the 5 towns. Just using that as a mushroom. Yeah? In batim. Ein metaltal by ela badal ramas. That's, I'm sorry, mavui shaloi nishtatu by. A mavui that they did not combine, meaning farakoi didn't combine with base water and the 5 towns. So then it depends. Irvu chatzeres in batim. But if farakoi did their own eruve chatzeres, like we said, the matzahs are in the akudah. I don't know where base waters is, and I don't know where the 5 towns is. Right, so irvu chatzeres in batim. If they at least did that part, then ein metaltal l'bayela b'dal ramas. Then you're not allowed to carry this stroller that you left in the street. Well, no, I'm sorry, the stroller in the street you would be able to, but you cannot carry anything more than 4 amas. Lo yirvu chatzeres in batim. But let's say they did not make eruv chatzeres. Let's say we forgot to make eruv chatzeres in farakaway and in base water and in the 5 towns. So then, then you would be able to take the stroller that was left in the street, you'd be able to move it all over the streets. Right? Now, that sounds a little bit, it's interesting, right? It comes out that if you did not do the first stage of the Eruv Chatzeres, then you're allowed to carry the stroller throughout the streets. If you did do Eruv Chatzeres, then you're not allowed to carry it. Okay? So that's what the Gemara is. What are you saying that when they make eruv chatzeres with houses, so you remove the chatzeres and they become houses, meaning each chatzer is looked at as an individual house. The Rav L'tamei, and Rav goes with his reasoning, which we'll see in Eruvin, on Daf Hey. The Omer Rav eina mavui niter b'lechi b'koira. A mavui is not gonna. We're not going to be matter of mavui with a lechi or a koira. With a lechi, again, we said a lechi goes vertical, and a koira is horizontal across the opening. Actually, until it both has houses and yards open to it. Here you'll have houses. Chatzeres lechi, you will not have houses, right? Chatzeres you won't have. Now again, he says this is another step with Eruvin. I hope this doesn't scare anybody from Eruvin. Right? But if you have a mavui, so basically a mavui is a dead end. So a mavui, in order to be materit, either you need to have a lechi, which we had this a few blot ago. Either a lechi, let's say Rose Street, right? A dead end street. So it's surrounded on all 3 sides. It's just one side, the 4th side. So you can either put a beam across it that reminds everybody, like, oh, you can only carry on Rose Street, but not onto Cornega. Right? Or meaning the dead, you can only carry from whoever doesn't know Rose Street. So you're on the dead end, you can only carry up until the end of the dead end, meaning the street end of the dead end, the opening of the dead end, and that's it. Or you can put a one lechi, a piece of wood this way, and that acts as a reminder. But Rav says that only works if you have bottom of chatzeres. Right? You need at least 2 houses opening up into 2 yards. Yeah? So he holds that's the minimum you need, and now you're not going to have here when you didn't combine the houses, right? When you didn't combine the yards. So So even if you didn't make an error between the houses, somebody's got to mute. Yeah. So even if you
mute.
What?
Yosef.
Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, so ki lo irvu nami lachzinu lahani bat command the steamy dumble. Why don't we look at these houses as if they're closed off and they don't even open to the chutzah? But chatzeres ika, and then we have yards ubatam leka, and we don't have houses here, and therefore you should be able to carry there. So the Gemara answers no, because because there is a possibility what everybody could do is be mavatal all their houses to one person. There's another halacha in Hilchos Eruvin, which is that let's say you forgot to do this eruv, you forgot to do the matzahs. So what everybody can do is that they can be mavatal their reshus and say all our property belongs to one guy, and you could do that on Shabbos. And once you do that, then it's considered one guy's private property, and then you can carry. So then the problem is, but we said that Rav needs 2 houses, so you only have 1 house. So the Gemara says, so it's like bias ika batam leka. You only have 1 house, not 2 houses. So Gemara answers, Efshar the mitzafer about palga the yoima. I don't understand the havamina of this Gemara here. After it's possible to meet Safar from the morning, Bad Palga the Yom, until the afternoon, halfway through the day, Lagabi Chad, and everybody will give all their property for the first half of the day to one person, and Meifalga the Yom Lupanya, and from the halfway through the day towards the evening, Lagabi Chad, we'll all give it to one person. So then you're going to have two different people have houses. The Gemara asks on that a simple question. That's very nice. There's still only one house opening up here. In the morning, it belongs to one guy, and in the afternoon, it belongs to another guy.
How would you do it anyway?
What does that mean?
That means someone has to make a kinyan on Shabbos. If everyone was mafkir their property to one person, that's kinyanim.
Yeah, but for the Tzayro Shabbos, you could do it.
Yeah, so they give him a kitzur shulchan aruch. They make believe he's a bar mitzvah boy. They give him a kitzur. They give him a kitzur with the matza.
Not minyanim, kinyanim.
I said.
Yeah, but
forget it.
No, but this bittul of rishus you could do. Bittul of rishus you could do on Shabbos. So I think the way I understand it, it's for the Tzayro Shabbos, but we'll see it more in Erevin. That's the way I understand it. But either way, so it still doesn't help.
No, bittul of rishus is one way. That myself.
Huh? What do you say? Not working? Okay. So, I don't understand the Havaminas here. I mean, these are simple things. You need two houses at the same time to open up to the yard. And here you're only having one guy's house in the morning. Even I could ask that kasha, right? So, must be that I'm not understanding it, that's all. Right? So, Elo Amar Ravashi, mi garam lechatzer sheyasar batim, the lekam. So, Ravashi said, no, what's causing the chatzar to be asr? The bottom, then you don't have. Right? Fine. Okay. End of that. If the Olam didn't follow that, I apologize. But now we're back to regular Gemara. Some Rav Pia Barav Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Lo l'chol Amar Rabbi Eliezer machshirei mitzvah doichenes Shabbos. Not Rabbi Eliezer didn't say that every mitzvah that has something to be done before on Shabbos, do we say it's doiches Shabbos? Meaning machshir. The whole issue here with Rabbi Eliezer is, yes, the mitzvah of Mila is doiches Shabbos. That we know. That's a beferisha. Not a beferisha pasuk, but that's what we learn out from the pasuk. That's a malacha. You're not allowed to cause somebody to have a cut on Shabbos. But for bris, you're allowed. But machshirei mitzvah, carrying the knife, or creating the knife, Rabbi Eliezer holds you're allowed to do on Shabbos also. So does he say this by other mitzvahs too? For example, you forgot to get a lulav before Yom Tov. Can you go on a tree and cut down a lulav according to Rabbi Eliezer? Right? So the Gemara is going to go through different examples. The Gemara, yeah.
I don't understand.
Go ahead.
I don't have to own a lulav. I can use you'll give me your lulav. I don't need to get a lulav.
Yeah, that's true. You're old school, right?
Yeah.
No, but let's say the whole town doesn't have a lulav.
Okay, fine.
Let's say the whole town doesn't have. Actually, it's interesting. Who says the Chachmas Adam? So once you brought it up, the Chachmas Chai Adam says, Mashman Chai Adam, that you're not mechuyev. Who says I have to stop? I have to leave work to go find a lulav? Meaning, comes Yom Tov morning, I got to look for a lulav. If I don't find it, I don't find it. Right? It's an interesting shita. Yeah. Don't try that at home. Don't try that at home. But I'm just saying there is a shita like that. That you don't have to go be proactive.
I used to ask it by matzahs, like. What do you have to go buy $400 worth of matzah and go to Williamsburg? You sit down by the Seder and you say, okay, moitzi matzah. Oh, we don't have any matzahs. Oh, too bad.
So I don't know, because then you can't eat challah either. So I don't. Yeah. No chanami. But that's it's an interesting thing. How far you mechuyev to go to put yourself in a situation to do a mitzvah. But either way, Somer Rabbi Eliezer machshirei mitzvah doichenes Shabbos. Machshirei mitzvah doichenes Shabbos sharei shtei halechem. Sorry, I skipped the line. No, did I? No, I did it. Okay, let's start again. Amar Rabbi Pia Barav Amar Yochanan. Lo l'chol Amar Rabbi Eliezer machshirei mitzvah doichenes Shabbos. Rabbi Eliezer did not have a blanket allowance to allow machshirim of mitzvahs to be doiches Shabbos. Shtei halechem chayves hayom hein. The shtei halechem, right? That's the 2 loaves of bread that they brought on Shavuos. That's a chiyuv of the day. It has to be brought on Shavuos. But lo lamdan Rabbi Eliezer elam gzeira shava. And Rabbi Eliezer only needed a gzeira shava to learn this out. Meaning, according to Rebbe Eliezer, why couldn't it be simple that you're allowed machshirim? I don't know. How do you touch machshire? How do you touch that machshire? How do you translate that?
Preliminaries.
In order to make it kosher, what?
He uses the word preliminaries of a mitzvah.
Oh, preliminary. Okay, I hear that touch. That's a good touch, right? The preliminary stuff in order to enable you to do the mitzvah, right? So Rabbi Eliezer needs a gzeira shava to learn it out by shtei alechem. What does he need a gzeira shava for? If that's what he holds, that's what he holds. So it must be that it's not simple. That meaning every mitzvah needs a special limud to tell you that you are going, that you're allowed to, that machshir yachal nefesh is going to be doiches Shabbos, right? The Tanya Rebbe Eliezer, I'm a menayin lemachshir shtei alechem shedoiches Shabbos. How do you know that the machshirim of shtei alechem, meaning what's a machshirim of shtei alechem? Well, we'll see in a minute. It says the word hava to bring by the carbon Omer, which is brought on the second day of Pesach. And it says just like by the Omer that falls out on Shabbos. So all the preliminaries are doiches Shabbos. Then whatever's by the shtei alechem also is doiches Shabbos. So meaning the grinding. Let's say they didn't grind the wheat, and they I don't know what else do you have to do, boirer or whatever it is that you have to do in order to get flour, in order to make bread. So if you didn't do that before Shabbos, you're allowed to do it for Shabbos. You're allowed to do it for the carbon Omer, and therefore we learn out you're allowed to do it for the shtei alechem. So the Gemara says mufni, and this is
Yaakov, this gzeira shava when it comes to shtei alechem, and with that only Rebbe Eliezer or the Chacham are masking to this?
I think we're gonna discuss on Amud Beis. We're gonna discuss the machlokes between the Chacham and Rebbe Eliezer. I think the Chacham would not agree. I think
they don't agree to any of this, even shtei alechem.
I think so.
Or even Omer, I mean?
I don't know. I don't think on Amud Beis it's not going to discuss that. I don't remember. I don't know. But let's see it on Amud Beis, but I don't think it's going to answer it either. I'm not sure. Okay, it's a good question. So anyways, so that's what we're saying. So in mufni, now there's something, by gzeira shavas, there's something called a gzeira shava mufna. Mufna means available, right? Panui, available. Pnuya is a single girl, she's available, right? So if the word is not being used in the pasuk, meaning seemingly the word is extra in the pasuk, and therefore we can say the reason why the Torah made that word extra is to make the gzeira shava. So you could have, right, a gzeira shava requires two psukim, two words in two different psukim. So you could have a gzeira shava that's not mufna at all, meaning that the pasuk needs it, it needs to say that word, it just uses the same word. We want to say gzeira shava. That's a very weak gzeira shava, because you could ask questions on it. Then you have mufna mitzad echad, meaning one of the words is available, meaning it's not necessary, and therefore we could say that that's very necessary gzeira shava. And the best gzeira shava is mufna from both sides. Okay, so the Gemara says mufni. So the Gemara says it must be that it's available, this word. Why? The loy mufni, because if it wouldn't be equal and mifrach, because we can ask a simple question. If you find new grain, right? The new grain for the Omer, it's already cut. You still have a specific mitzvah to cut it. Meaning you have to cut it lishma. You can't just, if you find new grains that were already pre-cut, meaning you come to the field to cut the grain on the second day Pesach, right? And you find that the wind blew a few grains and you don't need to cut it, there's still a specific mitzvah to cut it. So there's a chumrah about that. So maybe that's why it's doiches Shabbos, because it's so important to cut it. For the shtei alechem, for Shavuos, if you don't have to, there's no mitzvah to go cut down grain in order to make the flour. If you find it already cut, then it's fine. So the Gemara says, Li afnuye mufne. Yes, Li means yes, it is. Afnuye mufne, it is available. Michti ksiv avesem esa'im ereishis k'tzirchem elakayin v'yamaviachem lamali shmamino lafnuye. It says v'avesem esa'im ereishis k'tzirchem elakayin. You bring the omer, the beginning of your katsira, the beginning of your harvest, to the kayin v'yamaviachem lamali. So v'yamaviachem lamali. What do you need that word haviachem? Why do you need again to say the day you bring it? So that teaches us that it's available. And since it's available, you can't ask any questions on it. It's a gezeira shava. There's nothing to ask. But it's still only mufna from one side, not both sides. And we hear that we know that Rabbi Eliezer holds that if it's only available, if only one of the words of gezeira shava is available, then it's still you can still ask kashas. You can learn it out, but you could also answer questions. So the Gemara answers Taviyu Ribuyahu Lamute Mai Lamute Mailim Lamute Lulav Batanya Michal Machshirav Daichanas Shabbos. Did I do a run on here? Yeah? Okay, that's it. Right? So that's what we're saying. So you could ask on it. You could theoretically ask this kasha on it. Yeah?
No, the Gemara. See, I think the Gemara starts is.
Oh, so the Gemara is going to answer now. 1 second. Taviyu ribuyahu. Right? The taviyu is a ribuy. It's an extra word, so then mamela it is mufna.
So Yaakov, didn't we learn once that when it comes to gezeira shava, sometimes the Gemara says it has to be the exact wording, or there's a machlekes whether it has to be the exact word.
We say, you're asking for
willy-nilly.
No, right, by bris. No, but that was where we had like 3 options to decide. I think this is what you're asking. We had 3 options to decide where do you do the bris, on the heart, the ear, or the aver, right? So we decided we're going to take the exact wording as opposed to not the exact. That's what you're asking?
My kasha is that the Gemara seems to be using words. They're saying there are certain words, habadika words, but they're not the exact same word. So I thought they're
not the exact same word. No, but I think the Gemara always doesn't need exact words.
I thought it's the machlekes whether you needed an exact word or not. When it comes
yes,
to gezeira shava.
Yes, but I clearly this Gemara is going with that. That it's okay. No, I think not most, but many gezeira shavas do not have the exact same words. Anyways, okay, so well, either way, so even according to Rabbi Eliezer, that needs it available. So we have the word taviyu. We do have another word that makes it mufna from both sides. Okay, so then the question is now lemuute mai. What is this coming to exclude? Meaning we said Rabbi Yochanan said, who is it? Rabbi Chia bar Abba said b'shem Rabbi Yochanan that Rabbi Eliezer doesn't say by everything. So what's he coming to exclude? So lulav. If he's coming to exclude lulav, meaning that lulav you would not be able to do a malacha in order to be mekayim the mitzvah, right? Vatanya lulav v'chol machshirav daichanas Shabbos. They were Rabbi Eliezer. A lulav and any of its what do you call it? Preliminaries, right? And its preliminaries are daichanas Shabbos. They were Rabbi Eliezer. So it can't be it's coming to exclude lulav.
Is this talking about for a private person or in the Beis Hamikdash?
I thought for everybody. No?
There's no tziba lulav. What are you asking, Gershon? There's no tziba lulav.
No, meaning
it's a separate mitzvah Beis Hamikdash.
Meaning for the Beis Hamikdash, that's the deraisa. That's what you're talking about. Yeah, so I don't know. I thought it's everybody. Why? Is there any reason to believe that it's not? Yeah, so that's that. So okay, so it's not lulav. Sukka. Must be it's coming to exclude sukka. But Tanya, sukka v'chol machshirav daichanas Shabbos. They were Rebbe Eliezer. A sukka and all its preliminaries is daichanas Shabbos. They were Rebbe Eliezer. So it can't be sukka. Matza. It's coming to exclude matza. But Tanya, matza v'chol machshirav daichanas Shabbos. They were Rebbe Eliezer. Matza, and if you didn't bake it before Pesach, then you'd be allowed to do whatever, do the grinding and all that stuff before. The Shofar. It's coming to exclude Shofar. But Tanya Shofar v'chol machshirav daichanas Shabbos. If you didn't get a Shofar before Rosh Hashanah and it's Shabbos, then you would be able to be daichanas Shabbos. So Tzitzis letalisai mezuza lepischai. It's coming to exclude putting tzitzis on your talis on Shabbos and putting a mezuzah on your door on Shabbos.
Do we blow the shofar on Shabbos?
This is before the gezeira.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's a good. What? It doesn't make a difference. So he's allowed. Rabbi Eliezer allows machshirin. Right. So Tani Nami Achi v'shavan shimtzayitz talisay v'asum mezuzah lepischay shu chayev. Right. If you put tzitzis on your talis and you put a mezuzah on your door, you're going to be chayev. My timer. Amar Rav Yosef Isha ein kavu lehem zman. Oh, so now we get into a little bit of lumdus here. why does Rebbe Eliezer hold that you can't put a mezuzah on your door on Shabbos and you can't put tzitzis on your beged on Shabbos? Because there's no set time for them. Meaning, bris has to be done on the 8th day. Lulav has to be done on the first day sukkahs, or all the days of sukkahs, even when it falls out on Shabbos. All these other things were time related, and this is not. Right? So, but
it is time related. There is a time related aspect. You can only the mitzvah is only during the day. If you wear them at night, it's a different story.
That's true. That's his man.
No, he should have put it on Friday morning. Now all of a sudden Shabbos morning he wants to put it on too bad. Put it on Sunday morning.
Mezuza doesn't have to be done the first day you live in the house?
It does.
No.
But it depends. If it's rental, no. Buying, yes.
So buying.
Right. So buying it does, but it's not it's a mitzvah to do it. There's no isser. The point is here, there's no isser. We're going to see Rashi on Amud Beis, a fascinating Rashi on Amud Beis here. But there's no isser. Let's see. What? Let's see. Amalei Abaya Adarab Medein Kavula and Zman. If it doesn't have a set time on Amud Beis, Kol Shaita V'Shaita Zmanu. So that means it's time is maybe that's what you guys were asking. Kol Shaita V'Shaita Zmanu. Then its man is always. It doesn't be mezuzah and tzitzis. Its time is always. So of course you should put it on right away. So now we get into a different lumdus. You can be mafka your house, or you could be mafka your tzitzis. Now you no longer own the tzitzis. You don't own the house. Tread lightly if you mafka your house, though. Right? That can end up costing you. Right?
That's better than not having a mezuzah? Just wait till after Shabbos. It's better
because you're not supposed to have a house without a mezuzah.
So mafker my house for Shabbos.
There's no isser. There's no lav. There's no lav for not having a mezuzah. But you are losing out on mitzvah deraisa. So you're being mevatel a mitzvah. So you should be mafker your house. Yeah. What do you do if you're wearing tzitzis in the street and they became puzzle? Right? So of course, the Gemaras, you take it off. Let's say you're embarrassed to take it off. You can't. There's no way to take it off.
Your house.
You mafka your tzitzis. No, you mafka your tzitzis. You mafka your tzitzis. That's what you do. Now you're not wearing your own tzitzis. Right? That's what you should do. Now Rashi here says, and that's the Pashup Shan the Gemara. Rashi says, look at the top Rashi. It's kedai to read it. Right here. Kol shat zman. He was saying that every hour is the zman for lulav, for mezuzah and tzitzis. The kiven sheyesh letalis b'chol yom shemashe beloy tzitzis over ba'aseh. Right? If you have a talis, you're over an aseh va'afilu meneches bekufsa. Even if you have a four-cornered beged sitting in a box, right, and it doesn't have tzitzis on it, you are mevatel a mitzvah aseh. Now that is not the way the place can understand it. Meaning, there's no, a lot of people like to put on their own tzitzis. They like to put on tzitzis themselves. So that means, according to this Rashi, if you go to the store and buy a beged, and then you also buy the tzitzis, and you put it into your cabinet, and you forget about doing it for a few days, you're over on a mitzvah safe every time. That is a massive chiddush. The pashut understanding of tzitzis is when you wear a four-cornered garment, you have to make sure that's tzitzis on it. Not this chiddush from Rashi. Right? Okay, whatever it is, it's I tell you, yeah.
What's the Gemara that says kol shaitis manu? How does that reconcile with the whole Indian of mitzvah shishas man groma? Because if you say such an Indian that every second is a mitzvah, so then you could apply that to every single mitzvah and say every mitzvah says man groma.
No, but tzitzis lemaisa is not at night.
So then it's not kol shaita.
By the way, first of all, mitzvah really is at night. It really is a mitzvah at night. So maybe women could really wear tzitzis, but we're not going. We're not going.
No, but I'm just saying, if they're saying every single second it's ramya allowed to be mekayim the mitzvah, so then is that mitzvah sheishes my grama? It's not mitzvah sheishes my grama.
No, what do you mean? It's why? First of all, this is certainly not.
The Gemara says kol shaita v'shaita. Rashi says keven sheisho talis b'chol yom. So he's not saying minute to minute. He's not saying every minute. He's saying every day.
Right. That's what's interesting. That so I mean, does that mean that the second you buy a talis, without tzitzis on it, you're over on an asay. No, you can't. It seems like it goes by day. That's what you're saying, right? That's what you're saying. But yeah, all right. But that's clear what the Gemara is saying. I'll tell you, Rabbi Kiva Eger holds in Hilchos Mezuza. This is fascinating, Rabbi Kiva Eger. Rabbi Kiva Eger holds in Hilchos Mezuza that when you leave your house, you do not get the mitzvah mezuzah on your house. Meaning, when you're not home, I don't know how it comes out 2-3 days. If you leave your house for more than a couple of days, Rabbi Kiva Eger holds you got to make a new bracha on all the mezuzahs because you lost the mitzvah. Now, I don't know if it's 2-3 days. I don't remember exactly that, but I know I did come out with that. If you want to be makon Rabbi Kiva Eger, you should down be yechidus always. Forget about corona because every time you leave your house, you're losing out on the mitzvah mezuzah. Right? Meaning he says it's only a mitzvah mezuzah when you're in your house, not when you're out of your house, you're not getting the mitzvah mezuzah. Okay,
so,
I think
so. Every time you walk out of your house, you're mafka your house.
That would be a way against getting away with Rabbi Kiva Eger. Yes, yes, yes.
Will David just do it in front of Rabbi Kiva Eger because everybody else is going to take your house in a second. Rabbi Kiva Eger might not, but anybody else will.
That's right. Yeah.
Can I ask? Like, yes, these are loopholes.
That Rabbi Kiva Eger, like,
how would it help us?
You go wait for the people who have some.
Yeah, and a chanami. You have to make a new bracha when you come back, or you go wait for a few days. Yes.
I'm saying it's more than a few days. That's
yeah.
Yeah, but you're still paying your mortgage.
No, but if you're not in the house, Rabbi Kiva Eger is almost like opposite of Rashi. Rashi's saying that you have to put on tzitzis on your talis even if it's in your closet. Rabbi Kiva Eger is saying you're only mekayim mitzvah mezuzah. Again, I'm comparing apples and oranges a little bit, but he said you're only mekayim mitzvah mezuzah when you're in your house. So, what's Rabbi Kiva Eger do with this Gemara? Shabbos, don't go in your house.
Well, so if you were, what do you call it? Let's say like Gershi just moved, right? And he bought the house and he signed on the house, but he didn't move into it yet. Then he wouldn't have to put on the mezuzahs until he actually went into that.
According to Rabbi Kiva Eger, yes, according to Rabbi Kiva Eger, correct. That is correct.
So it's only when you would the first night you sleep in it.
Yeah.
Wait, that's according to everyone.
Well, that's a different story. That's if you moved your stuff in, you didn't move yet. Good, and a chanami, but Rabbi Kiva Eger for sure not. Even if you moved your stuff in.
I guess my real question is,
what are you saying? All right. Simon, what did you just say?
I guess my real question is, like, how, I'm not trying to sound close, but, like, how is this normal? Meaning, like, we have all these, like, chidushim that, like, yeah, you move out of the house, like, every time you live in that, like, you leave the house, like, you're not mekayim the mitzvah, so, like, it's better on Shabbos to, like, why is this, like, why are these applicable conversations to a real-life application and situation? Why are we having this?
Because there's no sport. There's no sports. So what do you want to talk about?
Well, first of all, we're learning Gemara. We're not paskening halacha necessarily.
Right.
We didn't say you can't.
No, you're asking Simon. You're asking Rabbi Kiva Eger. You're asking Rabbi Kiva Eger. You're asking on this Gemara.
It just sounds. The whole thing sounds bizarre on this.
You have to follow the sugya where it takes you. Then you have a kasha l'mais. You have to answer it up. But if the sugya takes you to that end, you have.
You sound like an old hippie.
Okay, good.
He is a little older than you, Simon, so he knows a little more.
I love it. Yeah.
Okay, let's go. Zog the Gemara about it. Yeah, so Omer Mar. Yeah. Okay, this Omer is relatively easy. Omer Mar. Lulav v'chol machshir of doichenes haShabbos. Do Rabbi Eliezer, like we just said, right? Rabbi Eliezer holds you can take a lulav, you can cut it down on Shabbos. Even the preliminaries. There you go. Preliminaries for a lulav are fine. How does he know this? So, yes, he learns it out from the carbon Omer and the shtei halechem that are brought on Shavuos that we said on Amud Aleph. You can't learn out shechein tzaruk kavaya. That's for Hashem. A lulav is not for Hashem. I mean, ultimately, it's all for Hashem. But meaning that's karbonos. A lulav is for us to do the mitzvah. El Omer Kra b'yoyim. It says b'yoyim, which we learn out. B'yoyim afilu b'Shabbos. You can take it. You do it even on Shabbos. So what's the halacha for b'yoyim? If it's because of muksa, right? Because a lulav would be muksa on Shabbos, it's the kral mishri tiltal. Do you need a pasuk to allow tiltal? Meaning muksa is not deraisa. Muksa is the rabbanon. The rabbanon added it later. You wouldn't need a pasuk in the Torah to tell you that a lulav is not muksa, right? Because from inside the Torah, it's never muksa. Elul machshirav, it must be for the machshirav, for Rabbanon.
What would make it muksa anyways?
Because it's a piece of wood. What do you do with it? It's a
mitzvah
branch.
to shake it that day. What does that mean? I can't pick up something that's a mitzvah that day to shake.
No, it's meaning it's only not muksa. It's a mitzvah, assuming that you don't have to do any averas to get to it.
Why would you have to do averas to get to it?
Because it's muksa.
It's muksa only dirabanan though.
Correct.
No, I'm not even saying that. I'm saying why would it be muksa inherently? It's something you're using on Yom Tov, on that Shabbos, because it's Yom Tov.
Right, but that's true. But the shaila is, would they allow you to take a lulav if it's going to make you be over on the derabanan?
What derabanan would you be over?
Muksa.
I don't know what that means. Okay, fine.
Okay, but we can go around in circles. Okay, we can do hakafas with the lulav. Okay. No, I hear what you're saying, but it's in the chronological order of how it all went down. That's why I understand it. Either way, so
does it also have something to do with the carrying, just in case you like mess up? Like they put the gather around it, another gather around it, so that you don't. Let's say you leave the lulav at home, then you can't carry it in a.
Well, it's not. No, see, we're not dealing with the tiltul here. Means muksa, even within your house. It's not getting involved with the gezerah of not carrying it in the Rosh Hashanah. That was an additional gezerah that came later. Anyway, so that's what Rebbe Eliezer holds. Rabbanan needed for that you take the lulav during the day and not at night. For Rebbe Eliezer, how does he know the day and not the night? So that's how you know that you take the lulav during the day and not at night. For Rabbanan, what do they do with that? You need it. Learn it out 7 days from sukkah. It's just like by sukkah. You have to sit in the sukkah during the day and at night. Afkan yomim fafilu leilos is so to here by lulav. You have to take the lulav. If you're going to learn out lulav from sukkah, you're going to have to take the lulav from during the day and at night. Kamash malan. So that's what the pasuk is telling you the yom. So v'lichta ramana belulav v'nesu hanach v'nilfa v'nei. Why don't the Torah just write it by lulav, and then we'll learn everything out from lulav, meaning shtei alechem and Omer. Right? Mishum de ikul mivra malulu shekenton arba minim. Now the lulav requires 4 minim. Right? So the lulav has a chumrah about it that comes with an esrig hadasim and aravas. So you have to take 4 things. So therefore it's a chumrah. Right? That's not so clear. There's a Tzitzis. Tzitzis asks the kasha, what do you mean? The shtei alechem and Omer have to come along with other things too. Right? But that's okay. But that's not the main part of the. That's not the main part of the mitzvah. Right? Then we go on to the next things. So it's interesting.
Isn't the maskana of the Gemara?
Yeah.
There's still a delay?
Yeah. All right.
And it's after 10.
You're all like us. We're all delayed. No, Sean. I'm sorry. I'm delayed. I'm not anybody else. Okay. Sukkah. So Akiva, you're right. Here the Gemara asked about the Rabbanon. Didn't ask it by Shtei Alechem or by Omer. Right? Akiva's still there?
I'm still here, but it's after 10, so I'm just letting you go.
Okay, very good. Okay. Sukkah v'chol machshirei adoichen es haShabbos, divrei Rebbe Eliezer. Right, sukkah and everything that would, right, to build a sukkah, you'd be allowed to do it according to Rebbe Eliezer. Minolei Rebbe Eliezer. How does he know? Imei Omer v'shtei alechem shekein tzarek goy. You can't learn that from Omer and shtei alechem because that's a tzarek goyahu. Imei lulav. This is all chazara. Right, imei lulav shekein ton arba minim. You can't learn that from lulav because lulav has a chumrah about it that it needs 4 minim. Ella gomer shivas yomim min lulav. You learn out 7 days from lulav. Mala halam machshirav doichen es Shabbos, just like a lulav. It's preliminaries of doichen Shabbos. Afkan nami machshirav doichen es Shabbos. It says why don't we learn it out by sukkah and then learn everything else from that? No, sukkah you can't learn anything out from sukkah because sukkah is the only one of all these things that you have to do it during the day and at night. The other ones are all just during the day. Fine. Matza b'chol ma'asher doichen es Shabbos. So matza and anything that would be necessary for the matza would be doichen Shabbos. How does he know? You can't learn it out from there because that's for Hashem. If it's from a lulav, it needs 4 minutes. You can't learn out from there. Sukka has a chumrah that it has both night and day. Learn out 15 from Sukkahs. Just like by Sukkahs, we are allowed to build a Sukkah on Sukkahs itself, according to Rabbi Eliezer. So too matzah, you'd also be able to.
So Yaakov, the Gemara never asks about mufna over here. Are these mufna? According to Rabbi Eliezer?
I don't know why the Gemara sometimes talks about mufna and sometimes doesn't. I think Tzitzis, one of the Tzitzis here asks, I think, if I remember correct, somebody asks.
What was mufna?
What? Meaning, every time there's a Gzeira Shava, how come sometimes the Gemara is busy with whether it's available or it's not available? One of the...
Rashi actually, I just saw Rashi. By Zayin Yamim, at least, he asked you.
Okay, I don't know why sometimes it does it, sometimes it doesn't. Then the Gemara says, right? Let it, we'll say it by matzah and learn out the others from it. No, matzah, women and men are involved. So matzah has a chumrah, so you can't learn anything out from there. Right, so shofar and making a shofar is doicha Shabbos. That's what Rebbe Eliezer holds. We know Rebbe Eliezer. At this point, I don't think I have to translate. Lulav shekain tar and abermina. Sukka shekain eges b'leilas b'yomim. Matza shekain eges b'nashim k'anashim. Right, all the same gemaras. Right, so that's why you can't learn one out from the other. It says that the day of blowing should be for you during the day. Afilu b'Shabbos. So b'yom tells you even on Shabbos. Ulumai for what? If it's to tell you that you blow the shofar on Shabbos. Right, we had this about 20 blot ago that it says kol meleches avodah loisasu. Any melech of your avodah you shouldn't do. Yatzasa tkiya shofar radiyas apas that comes to exclude blowing the shofar and taking the bread off the oven, off the walls of the oven. She chachma. That's not called a melacha. That's called a chachma. It's called you have to be talented in order to blow shofar and in order to take the matzah off the wall. So that's not included in malacha, and therefore would be mutter. Beina malacha. So ela lemachshirin. It must be for the machshirin of the shofar, not right. Again, we're saying we don't need a pasuk to tell you you're allowed to blow shofar. What we need a pasuk for to tell you that you're allowed to do the machshirin of shofar. Okay, now the rabbanon. What do they do with this? They needed to tell you that you blow shofar during the day and not at night. How does he know you blow shofar during the day and not at night? You blow a shofar on Yom Kippur in all your lands. Now, that's not talking about the shofar by Ne'ilah. That's talking about the shofar that you blow by Yovel. By Yovel, you blow a shofar, and that tells that everything goes free, and all the properties go back, and all that stuff. So, V'gamri Ma'adadi, and we learn it out from each other. We learn out Yovel, Yom Kippur Yovel on Shabbos from Rosh Hashanah from there. So then Gemara says, so now that we know shofar is doicha Shabbos, meaning even the preliminary, so why don't we learn everything from shofar? So Mitkiyah Shofar the Rosh Hashanah like a lemigor. You can't learn it out from Mitkiyah Shofar Rosh Hashanah. Shekein machneses zechroinus shel Yisrael aviyin shebashamayim. Because what is shofar doing on Rosh Hashanah? It's actually bringing the schusim, or the not schusim, but the zechroinus. We're getting judged, basically, what it means. You can't learn it out from Yom Kippur because that shofar has a big chumrah to it. Is that when they blow that shofar, everybody's going free, right? It's bedlam. All the avodim go free, and everybody gets back their property that they sold, right? That's what happens by Yom Kippur. So therefore, there's a major chumrah or something very strict. I don't know if strict is the right word coming out from that, and therefore you can't learn anything out. So that's why you need a separate lima for each one of these things. Okay, we finished relatively on time. Wow. Okay, I guess we need to repeat Gemara one after the other in order to finish on time. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Have a good night.
Good night.
Yeah. Get your thing fixed.
Yeah, yeah.
Unless you have 7-second delay, because I don't know what's coming out of your mouth, maybe.
Oh man, he's seriously delayed. Yeah, you gotta get your. Even I have better internet than you do, and you have a bigger city than I am, Gershi.
I don't know, Middle America. I don't know. There's Middle America internet.
At least we have indoor plumbing.
I thought you were gonna say at least you have yards and place to walk.
Well, that too, but I thought that was given.
Yeah. All right.
Good night.
Have a
Go
good
diving.
one.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.